Hi, I'd like to talk to you about applications for children. There's a different criteria for adults than there is for children when you're reviewing them for disability. And sometimes you might want the disability determination because it can help with even Head Start, putting people ahead of the children that don't have limitations. And it can be helpful with when you have an IEP, individual education plan, or a 504 for children that have emotional issues. And so what they do, like for adults, it's looked at the impairment. Is it has it lasted or expected to last for at least 12 months or result in death? And what they look at is the severity. Is it a certain severity? Then it's going to be an allowance. Very many impairments are. If a person has to be on dialysis, and dialysis is one of those conditions where they automatically give you the Medicare, there's not a waiting period so that you can get the dialysis because it's usually 3 to 5 times a week, 8 hours a day. And so, and pancreatic cancer, cancer of the gallbladder, ipsilateral breast cancer, that's cancer in both breasts, ductal, inflammatory ductal cancer of the breast, or oat cell cancer of the lungs. Those are cancers that are really have a very poor prognosis, and the majority of people that have those definitely not going to be able to work. And even though there's treatment for it, it just has a poor prognosis. So they go by the severity and the different types of limitations. And a person might have it because they have rheumatoid arthritis, require oxygen during the day, not just at night for sleeping, but some people need oxygen 24/7 for emphysema, COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, different types of disorders. So they look at the severity, and if it's a certain level, they'll call it meets a listing. There's a listing of all kinds of medical ailments you could think of, autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, different types of arthritis, different types of cancers. Some are more treatable and more less likely to result in 12 whole months of total limitation. But for children, the criteria is different. Until a person is 18 years old, they're a minor child. And so when they review it, they look at, do they have marked one severe limitation, and socialization, learning, speaking, health, and would allow them for benefits. And then if you have like two marked, so severe is something that's really severe as far as like, say it's your child has behavior issues and has to have a one-on-one aid at school. That's severe or extreme. So that would be one of those times that the person might meet the listing for severity. Again, because the limitations for children is going to be quite different than for adults. And also if you have two marked, and a marked would be more than the average. Because people could have a lot of things, including diabetes, but it's controlled with medication. They could be having seizures, but they're controlled with medication. Maybe the child, and children have seizures, cancers, speech. One of the common limitations for children is their speech. They might be able to understand, but they have trouble either understanding, which is receptive speech, or expressive, like being able to talk. And the criteria for a child, just for an example, if a child's 2 years old, they're expected to be able to speak 2-word sentences and be clear enough that somebody that doesn't know them could still understand them. And so if your child is not speaking 2-word sentences at age 2, that's significant. And that would be a qualification for Social Security disability, or SSI, really. Because, again, you'd have to have like either parent who's either retired or deceased to receive benefits under the SSDI. Most commonly, it's under SSI. Now, your child might be found medically to be disabled, but the income level is higher than qualifies for SSI. You would still have that documentation that your child needs extra care, that your child needs um, specialized training or lessons, or to be pulled out and to bolster like an IEP for school, because that's where kids really have a hard time. And when you have the individual education behind the IEP, then the schools are required to like pull a child out for speech or different types of or occupational therapy, physical therapy. There's a lot of things that children may need to help to get up to their peers, the people their age. And that's what Social Security looks at. What's the average? How much does the child need? I have a grandson that needs speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy every week. And so that's a lot of limitations. So, but there's a lot of reasons that you would want to apply. Again, if your child were to go to Head Start, they give you points for like if you're on receiving any kind of financial aid, like either food stamps or Medicaid. But if you have a child who has been found disabled by Social Security, then even if you don't financially qualify for your child to go to Head Start, your child would be able to go to Head Start. And they get put on the top of the list because they know that those children are going to need extra speech, language, physical therapy, occupational therapy, different things. And they can receive that even while they're going to Head Start. It's a great program for getting kids ready for school. Okay, and well, have a blessed day. I hope that this is a little helpful. And if you have any comments, you can leave those and I'll get right to you. And also on my blog, I'll put more detailed information about Social Security, the SSDI, and SSI. Thank you. Bye.